Hey folks! Supernatural is back for this week and next week, and then it's on another hiatus and for about 2 weeks, and then we're back on for the rest of the season. So only one more little mini hiatus to go until the big full-blown one, which we're going to have to wait until October time for season 10. Ooh, so exciting! I'm not looking forward to hiatus. I finished season 8 around July, August time, and the wait from that until October was bad enough. I didn't have to suffer like everyone else who had been watching with the season. I didn't have to suffer as long as that, and I still suffered, so I'm damn terrified. This is the 16th episode. We've only got about 7 episodes left, which is quite scary. So it just means that we're getting closer to, firstly, the finale, but also to Asylum 12, which is in the weekend between the penultimate episode and the finale, which is kind of terrifying. So we start off with Dean and Sam trying to contact Crowley, who's been a bit MIA, trying to get the blade. They're not having any luck, basically. Maybe he's just not that into you. Then it cuts to a scene where there's a phone, and it says "Not Moose is calling," as in Dean. And Crowley's got a lady, and there's a person in the closet, and she takes some blood out of him, and I think it's like the last blood in that poor guy. Because Crowley is completely hooked on human blood. Parallel, season 4. So there's that going on, and obviously Dean and Sam really need to find the first blade so they can get to Abaddon, but it's getting pretty clear that Abaddon knows exactly what's going on, because this pretty lady that Crowley's been fooling around with is actually telling Abaddon everything that he's doing. And she knows about the first blade, and she's a bit like, oh crap. So she's on the hunt for the first blade as well. And then we get to the part where we have a cameo from special guest star Snooki from Jersey Shore. When I first saw that was coming up, I was a bit like, really? I know they joked about it at one point, but I was like, really? They've really done it? So I wasn't really looking forward to that very much, because I wasn't really expecting much from it. So they go to a crossroads, they put a massive devil's trap. They summon a crossroads demon that just so happens to be Snooki. And they're like, is that Snooki? Yeah. And then Dean's like, well, that makes a lot of sense. It's slightly funny, but I'm sorry. I mean, I'm a nice person, but Snooki's acting, I'm not even that good an actress, and I think I could have reacted better when I was about to be killed. But yeah, so she told them where she last saw Crowley. They managed to track down Crowley because he managed to answer his phone. And yeah, so they went to go find the first blade. They were talking about a member of the Men of Letters who got basically kicked out because he's a little shit. And they go find this dude. He was messing around with spells, and that was why he got kicked out. And his little house is all hidden by spells. There are mentions of Henry Winchester all the way through because he was his mentor. And then we get to his house, and he's kind of a bit of a creep, and he's got these vampires, and there's sort of a test to see if Sam and Dean are really that good. Yeah, and he has a zoo of all these supernatural creatures. He has all his collection. He was the one who bought the first blade because they were just running around trying to find where the first blade was, and everywhere they went it had been sold somewhere else or been given or smuggled into the country. They see it, and they're saying, look, we need it. And he's like, well, you don't have the Mark of Cain. And then obviously Dean's just like, what's that, bitch? Mark of Cain? Ah. The dude, is it Cuthbert? I don't know. And he was, I'll call him Magnus. His name, his alias is Magnus. So Magnus was like, okay, that's fair enough. But then he blew some dust in Sam's face, and Sam just disappeared and turned up in the forest, which is kind of weird. And then he was saying about how Dean was gonna stay in his collection, be part of his zoo, and he gave him the mark. He gave him the first blade, and his mark was going all weird and glowy, and he was like, and then he dropped it because he didn't want it anymore. He isn't letting him go, and he just ties up Dean. But Sam comes in. He manages to get a spell to get into the house, the invisible house of Crowley. And Sam sort of slightly, all the way through, he's just been like, shut up, you're useless, don't even talk to me, Crowley. And then he sort of slightly warming to him, and Crowley's like, you like me now, don't you? And Sam's like, shut up! Sam comes over, and Dean is really worried. He's like, no, don't. Sam, get away. Brother relationship. But then the dude ends up getting beheaded by Dean, which is kind of strange, because Sam got tricked by a shapeshifter, and it's all drama, and the real one ends up getting killed by Dean, just beheaded, which I think is a bit yucky, but a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Dr. Horrible. So it ends and they've got the first blade, which is like, yay! But then Crowley's a dick. He shoves Dean and Sam against the car, the Impala, baby, and says, right, I'm going to keep this so you don't kill me. You know, as soon as you find Abaddon, I will give you this blade back. You can go do your business. And then I'm taking it again. Because Sam was saying, we were only going to keep Crowley until we had the first blade. And Crowley heard, and he's like, I'm not dying, bitch. So yeah, it just ends with Sam and Dean bladeless, but on the hunt to find Abaddon. Yeah. So, likes. As I said, there's, as last week, I had a load of quotes, and I have a couple this week. I think it's just easier than picking out moments. So I liked Crowley's voicemail, that was too busy inflicting pain, even though he wasn't. He was like having sex, unless he's really that bad. And I just really liked Crowley in this episode. I really liked how he was drunk dialing, and how he'd called Dean not Moose on his phone, and how he kept calling Sam Moose all the way through, because I like mooses and I like Jared Padalecki. Crowley was just a highlight of the episode, really. Yeah, he was stealing candy and just being badass again, because more recently he'd just been sitting being tied up. And of course we have a lot to thank him for, because, you know, if it wasn't for him, Sam wouldn't be Sam right now. He'd still be possessed by Gadriel, most likely. Because he was the one who knew how to exercise an angel and got into his head and, helped Sam out. So I think Sam has a lot to thank him for, but he just doesn't quite see it, because he's not really over the whole angel thing yet, and he's still not happy with Dean. Just Snooki, I put her in likes because she was so kind of terrible that it was really funny. So like, I didn't not enjoy her scene, I was just sitting there going, this is really pointless, but it's hilarious. And I just liked how Dean was just like, see ya, Snooks, see ya, bye, because they exercised her as soon as she'd given them the information, which is a bit rude, but, you know, we'll excuse them. They're the Winchesters. Okay, this thing I really like. Cass has done it, and now Crowley has. It seems to be that they have this magical invention in their sleeve that just, like, sort of just dispenses an angel blade. Twice now I've seen just an angel blade come out of their sleeve, and they're like, I got an angel blade, pff, kill you now. I want one of those. Can I have one? Thank you. I liked the fact that, for once, Sam was kind of the ordinary one, because Magnus was saying about, oh yeah, well, we'll get rid of the ordinary one, we want the extraordinary one, and the extraordinary one was Dean. And that's, I was just like, but Sam's the extraordinary one. It's so weird to see him being called the ordinary one, because he was the one who had demon blood, still has demon blood in him. You know, was exercising demons with basically almost a demon. He was, he's Lucifer's vessel, he went to hell, he lost his soul. He was always there, there's something wrong with Sam, and now there's sort of something wrong with Dean. It's not really wrong, but, there's something not right with Dean that should be, he's not normal. And it's really strange, but I really like it, because poor Sam was always just, there's something wrong with Sam, we've got to sort out Sam, let's possess Sam with an angel, and it's just, and so I think it's nice. It's a good sort of break from, shut up. It's a good break from, always having Sam being the weird one, or have something going on with Sam. So I think it's really good to have something with Dean now. I also just like the fact there were spells. I like spells. Magic. All the Sam and Crowley scenes, really. Sam is just like, shut up, you're useless, just go away. And then Crowley's just like, helping, and then he's, you could see him changing his mind a bit, but not wanting to admit it, and I just liked that. I just did. It was nice. I really like Protective Dean, as usual. I always like Protective Dean. When he was he was tied up and Sam came in. He was like, Sam, no, get out of here. And it was like, oh. But yeah, it was so sweet. And yeah, and there wasn't really much about Dean and Sam's relationship in this episode. There wasn't, the big sort of... For the past few episodes, there's either been parallelism with the ghost faces, or they've talked about it, and Sam's just like, no, I wouldn't have done the same, that kind of thing. There wasn't anything in this episode, which is kind of nice in a way, because it gets a bit like, oh, just make up already. So it was kind of good they didn't touch on it, but it was still evidently there. They did seem slightly more, friendly to each other, which is good. He also just the quote, steam and mitts all over my baby, because poor old Impala had been engraved with Enochian. Poor thing. Dislike. Taking Dean, because that makes me sad. Don't take Dean. He's not yours to take. That is theft. I can call the police on you for that. Not that they do anything, because you live in an invisible house. But yeah, that was what I didn't like. So I was like, first of all, I thought he was going to stay like that, and he would be in that house for ages. I don't know why I thought that, but I just did. And I didn't like that he was going to hurt Sammy, because I don't like people hurting Sammy. That's really mean. Can you not do that? I can also get the police on you for that too. Watch out! I've got my phone. I will call the police on you, even though you're a fictional character. A big dislike was for a moment I thought Dean was going to hurt Sam or even kill him. There was a moment when he had the first blade. He'd already killed Magnus. He had the first blade, and his arm was all glowy. And he was standing there, and I could have sworn he was either going to go for Crowley or he was going to go for Sam. And I was slightly scared that he was going to go for Sam. I mean, I wouldn't want him to go for Crowley either, but I was sure he was just going to lunge out and get him, or one of them. And it actually put me on edge for ages. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, I put poor baby because baby got him. She got engraved. Poor baby! Crowley was a dislike, but the only reason he's a dislike is because he was a dick at the end and took the first blade. However, it was kind of a good reason, because Sam was basically saying, let's kill him now, because he is of no longer use to us. That sentence didn't even make sense. But, at the same time, it's for God's sake, Crowley. Did I cry? I did not. I don't think there was any really cry-worthy thing, unless you were crying because you were so happy that Snooki was in an episode, or crying because she was kind of terrible, or crying because you're really happy that Crowley's in the episode. I don't know, just make your mind up. Star of the show, I said Jensen. I might also add Mark Sheppard into that, because, they were both really good. Crowley, that was a really good Crowley episode, and Jensen was just really good with the whole Michael Caine thing. I mean, Jared was also amazing, but I pick him every week, and sort of Jensen and Mark Sheppard had bigger parts in this episode, so yeah. If he cried, then I would just give him Star of the Show, because when he cries it makes me sad. I give this episode a 5 out of 5, because I think it's a really good storyline episode, because I've been waiting. They have the whole thing about the First Blade, and then we didn't really hear about it for a while, so it's kind of oh, hurry up. So yeah, I'm really glad that we got a good storyline episode. Next week is another storyline episode, because we've got Abaddon. It's also the episode which was directed by Misha, so that should be interesting to see how what take he took on the episode and how we did it. I'm sure it's going to be awesome, because Misha is amazing, and although don't think he's directed before, I don't think that means that he's going to do a bad job, so I think he did a good job. And apparently, the first day of filming, they got a hell of a lot done, because Jensen and Jared were getting ready to pie his face. So they were being really good all day to sort of freak him out. And then Jared almost broke his nose by slamming a pie in his face. Well done, Jared. Well done. I think you would have regretted that. Yeah, we don't really know much about future episodes. I mean, next week I know that Abaddon's going to be in it. I think Crowley's in it again. Obviously Sam and Dean are going to be in it. Cass isn't in it, because I remember Misha said that he was glad that Cass wasn't in it, because he wouldn't want to direct himself. And then we've got 2 weeks. I'm not sure about episode 18 and 19. I have no idea what's going on with those. Episode 20 is the pilot for the spin-off series that's now called Supernatural Bloodlines. It was called Supernatural Tribes, so they've now changed it. I'm not really sure what I think about it, to be honest. I'm not sure I'm going to like it. When I read the synopsis, I wasn't really excited by it or anything. It's probably the fact that it's not got Sam and Dean in it, in honesty. I like Supernatural because of Sam and Dean and Castiel and all these characters. And obviously the first episode is going to have Sam and Dean in it because the pilot is episode 20, but I don't think I'm going to like it so much, which is kind of sad because, I don't know, everyone else, like Jared seems to be quite excited about it. I don't think Jensen is. I'm sure he said something about he doesn't really like spin-offs, so we'll see what happens. And you'll see me review the first episode. At the end of the season, I'm going to do a sort of an overview of the whole season, like my favourite episodes, my least favourite episodes, the star of the whole season, because what I will do is I will count up every single time I've given a star of the show, and I think I can guess who's going to be up there. So, yeah. In other news, it's Thomas Padalecki's birthday! Yay! Confetti, it's a parade! He's 2 years old now, and that's really crazy, because I remember last year when he was 1, and that's nuts. And now he has a baby brother. So, I've already tweeted Jared and Jensen. Why don't I tweet Jensen? He doesn't even have a Twitter! Jared and Genevieve. They both begin with Jen. I tweeted Jared and Genevieve saying, I hope Thomas has a really good birthday. I don't know if Jared's with them at the time. I'd like to think he is. Not that it would be his choice if he wasn't, because he might be working. But hopefully Thomas has a really good birthday. And yesterday it was Danielle Ackles' birthday as well. But I forgot to tweet her, so I might tweet her now. Because I feel really bad, because I tweet all the cast members when it's their birthday, and I forgot to tweet her. She's not technically a cast member, but she's part of the Supernatural family, because she is part of Jensen's family now. I'm going to shut up. This is 21 minutes long. Goodbye.